Welcome to the Emo Social Club podcast, broadcasting to you live from emosocialclub.tv. I am Brian.
And I'm Lizzie, and we're here this evening with our new friend, Mattstagraham, and that is the name that all his friends call him by, of course.
Hello.
So welcome to the podcast.
The whole thing. They call me the whole thing. And if I'm not your friend, it's Lord Mattstagraham.
Yep.
You're going the Lord Distic route, huh?
Yeah, well, I bought a small portion of land once, and it's a whole story. No, that's not true. None of that's true.
Own land. Tell us about yourself. We have been trying to get you on for a minute, and you do a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell everybody about you?
I am Mattstagraham. I am a solo musician who likes making loud music about anything from how bad everything sucks to how bad our government sucks to how bad being sad sucks. So an overarching theme of shit sucks. And I also like to do funny videos on the internet. And that is the gist.
I didn't realize this until we were looking you up for this episode, but I saw your TikTok about being productive way back in the day, and was attacked by it. So I guess to start off this interview, how dare you, and why would you come at me like that? I've never felt so terrible.
Literally like 3/4 to half of the comments on that video say either same or I feel so attacked right now. So don't worry, I'm an equal opportunity attacker.
An EOA, if you will.
Yeah. It's just like so. It was so perfect. I was like, I'm literally feeling like I can't do anything in the world, or I'll just put myself in a worse mood. And then because of that, I'm just sitting around not doing anything.
Don't you hate that TikTok just knows that? Like, they just know how you're feeling in that moment, and they're just like, you know what? This person needs to see something that'll make them feel worse.
Yep. The algorithm knows that what we want is to feel like shit. But then it's like, we know that other people are feeling like shit, so it like kind of helps.
It validates it.
It's like a little bit of like a bump, and then it's like, now I feel like shit again.
Yeah, I don't want to like stray too far from this, but I actually had this thought recently, which made me write the songs "Not Everyone's Gonna Love You" and "I'm So Dope" on my record.
It's a good title.
Self-pro. Oh,
yes,
thanks.
and it's just all self-promotion. You can talk about all of them.
And cool. I'll try not to feel bad about it. But I wrote those songs because I felt like the conversation of mental health in music is always so geared towards like, I feel this way and do other people feel this way, and it's kind of like that thing. And I felt like, maybe we kind of need to start talking about like, we all feel this way, yeah, but like, how do we start feeling better? You know, like I think that the conversation should have that, but like, I keep finding that like, no, I just want to go back to that place of like everything is garbage and I feel like shit. And I just want to know somebody else is pissed like me or like sad like me, you know? That's like, stick with what works.
I mean, you have to be like realistic at times though, because like not everybody is in that same mind space, and it's better to also be like, hey, shit sucks, guys, and we are in fact High School Musical all in this together.
Okay.
Yeah. And like, not to say that I want to write like ostrich songs, as one of my followers put it, where it's like, here's songs to put your head in the sand to, because there's so many of those. Yeah, I wish I knew who it was so I can quote them on that, because it was genius and they deserve credit.
Pretty good one, yeah.
That's pretty good.
But like there's just something about a good feel good romp, or a feel bad romp, I should say, that it's just like, yeah, me too, and like
it's like, I mean, obviously there's like the relatability side where you're gravitating towards things that, you know, you're feeling at the moment, which is always nice to have that relatability. But I do agree with you that like sometimes it's like, okay, yeah, feel like shit, feel like shit, feel like shit. Maybe just like a little crumb of like, you know, a pop song that makes me feel like not like shit. And then like, you know, fuck it. I'll go back to, cause you like what you like. And like, you know, we're still listening to My Chemical Romance because it made us feel sad. I almost said me only as though it didn't happen to any of you.
Wow.
I know.
Literally everybody in the world like
yeah.
you?
It made me feel sad in high school, and here I am.
You ever just start like saying things that you feel are relatable and then you realize that you're just offloading?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the time.
I do it all the time. And it's funny because it's like, it's still relatable because like everybody feels the exact same thing. But like, it's at this point, it's become a therapy session.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You realize that like, oh yeah, I'm just telling you about me right now. And, sorry.
And whoops.
It's like, I'm sorry. I thought we were all in this existential crisis mode. Apologies.
We definitely are. Why don't you tell us a little bit then about your music then? Because you got stuff coming out and you've done a bunch of stuff all over the place. So what you have a debut LP that just came out, right?
Yeah. I never know how to like answer like tell us about your music because there's so many things I could say. But really, I just kind of like I try to write exactly like the truest thing to myself, I guess. And like sometimes, you know, I mean, like obviously in hindsight, I'm always like, oh, I wish I said that different or whatever. But I feel like so many artists may like do things like they say like, what do I want to say in this song? Or like, how do I incorporate my influences and stuff? And like, I try to go into it a little more absent-minded, I guess, in order to get something honest. I feel like a lot of songwriting is, and especially in like songwriting sessions and stuff, is very like, it's become like processes, you know? And I like to approach it organically and say like, you know what, like if I'm my most honest self and this flops, then I'm not going to feel bad about it because I did what I wanted to do. But on the opposite end of that, I feel like if I go by processes and all these things, like I'm going to put out something that is not honest and everybody's going to know. Okay, so the coffee is definitely working because I am trailing off.
No, I 100% get what you're saying though.
It's not to say that I don't use processes at all. I mean, obviously, like, I need to, like, make sure that my music's good in the end, but I don't like going into it that way. And this is all just a very long-winded way of saying that Mattstagraham is my outlet for me to just be as loud and abrasive and obnoxious as I want to be, with minimal to no obstacles in the way of that. And I guess in some semblance it's working out, which is cool. You know?
Yeah.
So which kind of came first? Was it Mattstagraham or was it your TikTok? Or did it kind of like formulate from there?
So like it kind of came together a little bit at the same time. So like I had this record full of songs that I put out called I Get It before this record, and I just kind of like I was fully resignated at the point. I was like, you know what, no one's gonna hear these songs, like I'm gonna put music out because I want to, and I'm not going to worry about it. You know, I've spent so much of my life building towards like this career that I was so worried about, like, it's got to work out this way. It's got to work out this way. And it's kind of like, you know what? I don't feel good about that. And it's definitely like put me in a terrible place mentally. So fuck it. Caution to the wind. I'm just going to like put these songs out as like, whatever, I do whatever I want now. And right around that time, a global pandemic hit. So it even felt more like I may as well just do whatever I wanted on the internet. And the whole internet presence thing, it was kind of born out of that, where like I was like, you know what, like the world is definitely, this is a huge fucking bummer, you know, and I know that we're all going to get to the internet, we're going to dwell on it for, you know, however long this is, months, years, whatever, and like we're going to not be okay. So like maybe I could do something to like make it easier, you know, like maybe I can get on the internet and make a total jackass of myself, make things a little, you know. What ended up happening was like Gotta Be Productive. I made that TikTok, which wasn't even supposed to be a song, by the way. I literally was just tracking it into my microphone, and it was just supposed to be like this vocal doing this little rhythmic thing. And then by the second take of what I was doing, like I just found myself screaming it to the metronome, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna track guitars around this and see what happens. And then turns out it's my most streamed song, and it's the song that, yeah, I mean, like, gee, if you want to give the Fates a laugh, tell them your plans, right? Mm-hmm. That's when Rob from I Surrender Records, no, actually I think it was Gabby that found me first. And that's when they reached out to me and were like, hey, we want to like aid in this career. And at that point it was kind of like I think I have something with this, you know, like it might be nothing or it might be something, but I mean, like, this is that thing that like I've been working on my entire life to no avail, and like it would suck if I just kind of gave up on it now. So yeah, that's the very long-winded version of that.
I mean, we've seen a lot of I hate to call it success stories because of the pandemic, because I don't want to sound like the pandemic was at all a good thing, but for some people, like, you know,
for some people,
I mean, like that's kind of like what most people have said about it that have like gotten success out of it. I mean, like there's just like there's no way around saying that, like, yes, being locked indoors for a while greatly helped some people's careers. And like, of course it was a terrible thing that happened, you know? Of course, like I wouldn't wish that to happen to anybody ever again, or even the first time, you know, like, shit, man, that was a traumatic time. Even for people who, like, for me, who relatively did well. And I even got sober during that. Like I'm 2.5 years sober since November 2019. And yeah, like I went sober and then the pandemic happened. And
yeah,
since then, it's just, I'm just watching the downfall of humanity and society in fucking like 2020 clarity.
Literally.
I would kill for a beer right now, but I like beer too much, and that's why I have to stop drinking.
Yeah. I can't imagine. I am apologizing because I'm drinking a beer right now, but at the same time, I'm like, it's...
It was my problem, not yours.
Yeah, well,
you know?
fair.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because everybody's inside and on the internet, which is honestly still how I'm living. I'm still that now, so nothing's changed over the past 4 or 5 years, I guess. This is just normal life. I don't know what everybody's complaining about. I wasn't going out before it was cool. But I mean, do you feel like TikTok was your kind of breakout place, or do you feel like, I don't know, it's interesting because I feel like there's a lot of people who benefited from it, but it's like the actual like success stories are still very, like, a small percentage are still like the ones that actually like made it out of like the pandemic and are like doing actual stuff now and not just being like a Twitter or TikTok personality.
I mean, like, my take on that is like, I don't. I know I just agreed with you on it being a success story just now, but like, I kind of don't know about it being a success story still, because like, I have all these really cool things happening. I mean, I'm talking to you guys right now. That's cool.
This is going to be the lowest point of your year. I promise.
Yeah. It's only on the way up here, from here, my guy.
Let's hope. But I mean, I don't know. Like that's the thing is like I haven't toured yet. I've got a couple of dates coming up in July. Where I just hit a little bit of Southern Arizona, a little bit of Southern California, and then I'm currently working on some dates right now for September and October that I don't know if I should say anything about it because it's not technically booked yet, but I haven't like gone out and like seen if that success is like translated to real life yet, you know? And like the social media game is still very like you're still, you know, I like to call follower counts like vanity numbers because like you're still fighting for people's attention every single day, you know, which I kind of started realizing because like I went through a bit of a period where like a bunch of my videos just flopped. So I was like, okay, let's try something else. And so I tried putting out like rapid fire content. So I was just in front of people all the time. And then that flopped. So it was kind of like, okay, like this is really kind of a lightning in a bottle kind of thing. It started kind of working out for me again, like recently. But yeah, I mean, like internet cloud is a fickle bitch.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you can't use it to buy anything.
I've got bad news for you guys. I have to take these out and plug my phone in because I just got okay, so this is a total disruptor in the thing.
Look, we're keeping this all in. This is just how behind the scenes works, you know?
It's in real time.
It's going to make sure we can. Oh, there we go.
I can't hear you. Maybe go into the sound settings again. It may have swapped off.
Yeah. You guys are getting behind the scenes view.
BTS.
Don't you dare tell anybody about it.
No.
Here, I can do something from my end. I'm going to try something. I don't know if it's doing it because I'm in here or not, but I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Got nothing.
To make sure that the audio is working. Oh, is it working?
There we go. Yeah, we hear you.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. Before we, like, started recording, I don't know who's watching, this was an issue, and I was like, oh, my God, I'm going to have to, like, all that work we just put in to, like, make this work, I have to, like, undo. Like, I feel like such an asshole.
It's okay.
Trust me.
We got there.
Yeah, it is not your fault. I mean, this is the other side of, like, internet and doing things on the internet is, like, man, people had to learn how to, like, do shit. And somehow, and this is everybody, we're all still figuring shit out. Like, even though we've been doing like all this stuff online, Zoom and Google Hangs and all this stuff, it feels like we're still at day one, and I'm still working with a lot of people where it's like, yeah, we don't know how to do a Zoom call still.
Right. So I have a day job doing social media for a IT consulting development company, and there's like I had to do some research for a bit, and it was interesting to like find out that like we had all of these tools to like do all of this remote work and stuff that we were just not utilizing. And like people just weren't ready to like make the switch, and then like we got pushed into it, you know, because we had no other choice. And we could have been prepared, and like there was all these benefits, you know, like less cost on like office space, like happier employees. You know, it even like saved some companies like pay because like employees agreed to like take pay cuts to work from home, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just this thing where it's like nothing but good news. People felt more productive, but like because we weren't preparing for it, we just weren't ready to be thrown into it. And so like, yeah, like you're saying, like we're still trying to like figure out how all of this stuff works and like how to like work in like this space.
Do you feel as an internet creator, like, do you feel similarly?
I feel so much.
I feel everything.
I hate it.
Like, do you feel like that connection with people the same way on the internet as you do in real life? Because I found that the internet like still gives me the same sense of people, even if I'm talking to them through a camera on screen, than if I was seeing them in real life. Like I get the same interaction and the same feeling that way. But I realize there are a lot of people who are like, I'm going back into the office. I can't sit at home. I can't talk on Zoom anymore. And I'm like, I need you to figure out Zoom because that's the only way I'm ever talking to you, because I get the same reaction, but I don't have to go on the bus or the train or drive or take an Uber anywhere to get to where you are. So I'm like, no, it's the same.
I think like my first thought is like in like a workplace setting, it does the job, you know? I mean, like, unless like something happens like with audio or something, like it's we're doing the same thing we would have done in an office, you know? But also like I think that when it comes to like relationships with people, you know, not like relationship, you know, like with how we interact with people, it adds another layer I think is kind of exciting. Like for instance, like you guys and I, like we could become like fast friends over the internet, and like we could be like, say we started a whole other Twitch stream where we did this and like we met every week and we were doing this Twitch and like we had never met in person, but it was just us three like riffing, right? We would have some kind of connection, you know, because like I can read your guys's cues, like we would have some kind of like chemistry, you know. Right. But like there would be another layer of that to where like when I finally met you in real life, like it would be fucking cool, you know. So like I kind of feel like it might even like strengthen or like emphasize relationships with people, especially in like this day and age where like so many like friendships are made on the internet. I mean, like whether it be like social media, whether it be like you know, support groups, or like even fucking video games. Like, have you seen like these videos of like people meeting like their like gamer tag friends in real life, and they're like, holy shit,
like started dating their girlfriend from WoW in real life.
Oh my god.
Yeah, stuff like that. And it's like so much. Okay, I don't mean to assume your guys' age, but I'm assuming if I'm on an Emo Social Club podcast, we're probably all around the same age. I'm 30. You
You're
guys
like the middle then.
A point in time, huh?
You're like the middle then.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of both of us.
Okay. Well, then you guys probably remember a time where like we would like go on the internet and it was all like, be careful what you put there, don't trust anybody, like anybody could be a catfish, and like all this crazy stuff. But it's like these days it's so easy to like validate identity, because like I very clearly, like, you know, we're just chatting on Twitch right now, I can see you guys, you know. So like that layer is kind of broken down. But like I remember a point in time where like I like wanted to like I wanted to like promote my music online and stuff, but I was like super scared of like people and like intentions, you know.
I feel like that's like a big stranger danger thing, because like it was like basically .com boom, and then you have all these things that are like, oh, like you could be talking to like a 40-year-old man and you're gonna get kidnapped and all this crazy shit. And now even like the show Catfish, are like, why are we still doing this show? None of you have an excuse anymore. Like they're literally like, end this show because you guys are just too dumb to research this at this point. Like, all you have to do is just, like, Google it or do, like, reverse image search, do literally anything they've already done, and, like, you would know if somebody is, like, catfishing you or whatever it is, or they just don't exist. Like, you would just know.
God. Oh, man. Yeah, right. Like, at this point, it's like, you have the tools. Like, you could, like... The people, you're in denial now. Like, no disrespect to people who are on Catfish. Love makes you do crazy things and believe crazy things.
Okay, the one guy who was on Catfish, though, who believes firmly still that he's talking to Katy Perry online, and it is very much not Katy Perry, that is denial.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a different issue altogether.
That's like unhealthy, dude. Like, that's at what point is it like... At what point do you need to step back and be like, what is my grip on reality, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Literally, they were like, this is the person you're talking to. It's not her. And he was like, nope, it is Katy Perry. She is at, like, some award show texting me right now. And I'm like, oh, my God.
Oh, man. Poor guy. It's funny because it's like I'm talking about, like, the validity, like, you know, like, being able to, like, validate people on the internet. Because it's so easy to, and then, like, there's this whole other side, which is like a whole mental health conversation about how, like, a lot of us are kind of losing our grip on reality here, you know? Like stuff like that, or crazy QAnon conspiracy shit.
Oh, God.
Look, I mean, they make a lot of sense, is all I'm saying. No, I'm totally kidding.
No.
But, like, what if...
I think,
look,
my pie in the oven's done.
all I'm saying is, I don't think we ever got to the moon, is all I'm saying.
Oh, my God.
No, I'm totally kidding. I want to be sure because, like, I always worry that I'm going to make a joke and then somebody's going to go, dude's definitely flat Earth.
Ryan's sarcasm doesn't come across as sarcasm, and that is the main issue.
That's how you know I'm a good actor, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, no.
No,
good actor is a bad actor.
But maybe I'm only speaking for myself, but I feel a lot of musicians are, like, not neurotypical, so that sarcasm, like that super dry sarcasm, probably goes right over our heads. Mm-hmm. Because, like, if I don't know somebody and they have that, like, I feel like an idiot because it all is just like.
Well, sometimes too, like, I've definitely met people in the last few years, and I've been like, oh, they're totally chill, totally cool, and then somebody's like, oh, they're into QAnon. I'm like, what? They're like, oh, you didn't pick up on these things, and I'm like, no. And I'm like, oh, go to their Facebook. I'm like, well, I'm not friends with them on Facebook, so how would I know?
Not about
posting?
To start.
And then I go and I look and I'm like, oh, I don't like any of this.
Yeah, it sucks. It's like you could be likable and also terrible. Like,
yeah,
be a nice person and then go, I don't know. I just think that, you know, they were eating babies out there. It's like, well, how am I supposed to be your friend? Like, you're a nice person, but you also think.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah, come on, listen. It's their staple. Of
if somebody said that they taste
belief.
good, I'd be like, well, I mean, they taste good.
Oh my God.
I mean, they're just giving the babies away for free.
It's like, look, I'll take your word for it, but this is the last conversation we're ever going to have. Yep.
Thanks for coming to the last podcast ever.
Yeah.
Of all podcasts.
I will say, I'm really glad we did when I was teaching in the spring, we were going over QAnon conspiracy theories in media, and I'm really lucky that most of my students this time were not in favor of QAnon. Most of them were like, these people are fucking crazy. I'm like, oh, thank God. I always
not
worry.
all of them.
No. There was one. She was a very adamant Trump supporter and started saying Hillary in her papers. I'm like, hey, girl, I gotta grade you down. Like, you can't do that.
Gosh.
Where's your evidence?
Yeah, it's like, doesn't it feel kind of like scary to like bring those things up sometimes? Just because it's like, I know a majority of people agree with me on the fact that QAnon is ridiculous, but like, you just have to bring it up to like one person who is opposed, and then like at best you're locked into a conversation with somebody that you don't respect the opinions of, and at worst, like you're about to be in a fight, you know?
Yeah.
Like you have to argue, which is logic.
Right. So I did this thing where I picked up some petitions at my at our Tucson, our local Democratic office, in light of like the whole like overturning of Roe v. Wade thing. Super scary shit. Heart goes out to anybody who has a uterus out there. This is fucked up. I
can never leave Illinois at this point.
Oh man, yeah. Well, are they pretty progressive out there?
Yeah, we're like one of the few states that wouldn't be overturned in. So
awesome. Yeah.
Chicago just runs the state, and people are pissed about it.
Yeah.
So I live in Arizona. Yeah. So yeah,
anything could happen.
We just flipped in this last election, but well, there's a lot of people with stickers on their big trucks that aren't happy about that.
Yep.
But yeah, so I grabbed the petitions, and I decided, like, you know what, like, people are gonna get annoyed if I bother them on the street with these. Like, I know, like, I get annoyed even if it's something I agree with, so I'm gonna bring these to shows, you know. And like I was like doing a bit in between a couple of songs where I was like, hey, like, I have these and I just botched the fucking sale, and like it made it super unclear because I was just like, someone's gonna want to kick my ass after the show after I say this. So I think what I planned on saying was like, I have petitions to like protect reproductive rights in Arizona. We're going through a really scary time for people who have uteruses, and I want you to know that I stand with you. And it came out as like, I have these things for you to sign. If you would like, their petitions, they're for reproductive rights. Okay, this is the next song. Thank you. And we ended up getting a ton of signatures, which was cool. But like, it was just like, man, like, get some fucking spine, Matt Graham. Like, I botched that so hard.
I mean, look, we all have entered into a time of our lives where we have to do that work because we're the only ones who will. And at least, like,
right.
I mean, like in Chicago, it's like, look at all these people who probably agree with me. And at least if like you're in Arizona or somewhere else, it's like, look at all these people who may agree with me, and let me try to convince them of something better by using my platform. Because us here, it's just like, we're probably all on the same page, which doesn't help because I can't change anyone's mind.
Yeah, well, it's funny because it's like, the thing is like, no matter where you are, typically a majority of people agree with you. It's just that the people who turn up to vote, or who are given the opportunities to turn up to vote, are the people that disagree, you know? And like, the one thing that I will say about like Republicans, don't mind my dogs playing in the background.
No. They're delightful.
The one thing that I will say about Republicans, like I fucking can't stand this new wave of Republicans. Like, they don't stand for anything that they say they stand for. They are, you know, fucking small government, give me a fucking break. But like, they are stupid, but they are incredibly organized. Like, they all show up at the same time. They all do the same thing. Like, they are a unit, you know, and that's the scary thing about them, is the fact that they like, there's less of them, but there's numbers. You know, like, yeah, they know where to show up.
And there are also a lot of them. They're like, even if they all don't agree with everything, you got those people who are like the one issue voters. Like, they will not budge on certain things if that is like included. So like, for example, you have people who are one issue voters for like abortion. Like, that's why a lot of people be like, oh, I vote Republican just for this reason. Everything else I don't agree with, but this is what it is. And they can like just get that.
Man.
On our side, it's like very difficult because everybody's so all over the place, and there's no way to like be like, hey guys, let's all put it in together. Because I mean, I feel like,
yeah,
I feel like we have so many variations of what like being left of the political spectrum is now, and that everybody is like, okay, what are all these different variations, and not fully understanding all those different variations, and then being like, this is my variation. Oh, I don't like this. And it's like, okay, it's fine to have a critique on it. But the right doesn't have that separateness as much. And it's like, okay, we are like everywhere across the board. And that's what makes us like, it's like united we stand, divided we fall type of energy, which sucks to say. But like, that's just like cultural critique.
I'm so glad you said it. I'm honestly so glad you said it, because I've felt that way for a while and I've just never known how to put it into words. So that's like, that's perfect. It's kind of like subgenres in music, you know? It's like, and like, it's the reason why no one can agree on what fucking emo is. By the way, to whoever's watching this, you thought you were watching a music podcast? Fuck no, we're going deep into government now.
Hey, guess what? We're about to teach you some shit. Yeah. We'll sing you some songs about learning some shit, okay?
Yeah.
We hate our audience. Kidding, we love you.
And I'm grateful for you.
I mean, there are a lot of artists though who like don't even go this far into it because they're like, I am amazed at how many artists are still very like not outspoken on some issues. Like, we know that this abortion issue is like pretty much everybody's on the same side. People understand that anybody should be allowed to get the healthcare treatment that they need, and that we're having a really weird argument about it with a bunch of dudes trying to, I was about to say, put their hands where they don't belong. And I'm like, well, let's
that too.
Pull the metaphor back, but also it's a metaphor. But at the same time, like, there's a bunch of artists who I'm like, hey man, you could be angrier. Like,
you can be a little bit more mad.
You seem really just like, I don't want to offend anybody. And like, Republicans buy records too. It's like, dude, fuck them.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, fuck, like, I guess maybe I'm only speaking for myself, but like, if you're somebody who isn't on the side of like human rights, then like, I don't need you to buy my fucking record, you know? Yeah. Like, whatever, you know, like I've already come to terms with the fact that like my career is just going to be like what I make of it. And like, it's going to be on my terms. So maybe, you know, maybe I'm speaking a little bit detached. But I wanted to bring up something on that, because I've noticed that, and I never thought about it before. But I feel like from an artist's perspective, just as like a side point to, you know, like everybody buys records, like a side point to that the reason that they don't dive deep enough into these things is because like a lot of us are extremely exhausted by our career and very tunnel vision. Mm-hmm. Like I've spent so much time with artists who like literally just always on the job, and it kind of bums me out, you know, because like I see so much of myself in them and like how I used to be, you know, and I realize like, man, like so many of these people are like not living life because they're so like, you know, we were brought up to like be told like, you know, there's room for everybody here. Like, you just have to work hard enough. You just have to work hard enough, just like anything in this country. And like with artists, it's especially hard because it's like, like everything is like a labor of love, you know? So like when you play in front of a bigger crowd and they're like, okay, well, like we'll put you in front of 1,500 people, but you probably won't get paid. You're like, fine, I just want 1,500 fans. And that's like the shit that you're willing to deal with. And like a lot of us are just like so hyper focused and emotionally exhausted. Like it's like a real side of depression that's like not so much the like I'm gonna stay in bed and eat chips all day portion. It's like the real like I am so like I guess like removed from reality in a sense. Mm-hmm. And like while yeah, like they do feel strongly on these things and understand that we like need to do things about it. Like we're just trying to like get to tomorrow, you know? Mm-hmm. I think that part of the reason why I've allowed capacity for Mattstagraham to like stand on issues and do something is because to me, for one, like going to an office and getting a petition and bringing it to a show is an easy thing for me to do. It feels easy, you know, and it feels like something that I could do, but like I feel like I was able to think about something like that because of how far removed from like stardom I am, you know. Like whatever, you know, I'm fucking 30, dude. I just want to like play shows, have a good time, and if I can make a difference, then like fine, you know.
You're gonna get so much more tired in your 30s, and you're gonna be like, dude, fuck them all.
Yeah, no, I love it. I absolutely love it. I know it's gonna get worse. Like
it doesn't get worse as much as you just get like more fuck it about everything. And like I know that because I'm 35. I know that I'm more tired. I know that I have less fucks to give. Like I've just been running out of fucks for years, and now I'm like down to the fumes of fucks that I have left to give. And I'm like, well, I have less fucks, so who cares? Like if somebody's like, oh, I'm so tired, it's like, yeah, try being tired all the time. It's like, no, it's just who
like,
you're going to be.
Less fucks. I don't get paid enough fucks. I tried to put my fucks into like a Roth IRA and like have them gain some like fuck interest, and I can't.
Yeah. Oh,
can't do it
no
anymore.
interest
I don't
on
even
my
know what
fucks.
a Roth IRA is. It's just there.
Okay, Lizzie, when you turn 30, you learn what a Roth IRA is.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah,
I have so much to look forward to.
It's like an RPG man, where you get a new skill after you reach the level 30.
It's like you turn 30 and it's like, oh my god, like skill unlocked.
Yep. Achievement unlocked. Roth IRA knowledge.
Oh my god.
Your skill tree starts down here, expands this way, and then just starts retracting this way.
Yep.
So
Yep.
like
It definitely
physical ability, and then like this is like intelligence level, and then it just goes. Whoop.
Yep. And then eventually, just all of it just falls off.
Maybe that's why in those job interviews we're like, you're not like older though. Like, is this going to be an issue? It's probably because I didn't know what a Roth IRA is, and they just did.
That must have been it, honestly.
That must have been it.
Welcome to the second half of the Emo Social Club podcast, where we educate you on what a Roth IRA is.
Apparently. Also, never in an interview ask somebody their age, because it is illegal and uncomfy.
In a job interview, yeah, you can't.
Don't do that.
Writing
About
that down.
Yeah. Like how to transition out of that.
Anyway, so you didn't have to ask that or anything because for your press release, because you wrote your own presser, which I thought was very silly, because I was reading this and I was like, okay. And then I saw the bottom two paragraphs. I'm like, all right, this is pretty funny. Yeah, I was like reading it and I was like, oh, okay. And then I saw I'm talking in third person. I was like, what? And then I like read the rest. I'm like, oh, this is very finely done, because I've seen people not do it really well, and you did it very well. So good job on that.
Yeah. Thanks. For one, I was like, man, like, and this is a thing that I'm getting used to as I'm like doing like podcasts and like video interviews and stuff. I feel weird about talking about myself, you know? Like, I know I'm supposed to do that here, but like I just feel weird doing it. My girlfriend just got home, so that means that I can close the door. Hi, I love you. Well, it's like I don't want to just be like, oh, good, she's here. You know, bye.
Peace out.
My responsibility is done. Fuck that shit.
And we're done.
And
yeah. Real great relationship I'm in.
Look, you know, everybody has their own form of love.
Also, I figured like, I also figured like when it comes to like press kits, like okay, I'm probably going to be sending this to a lot of people eventually. People who read press kits probably have to read a ton of them a day, you know? So, like, I want to write something that's like, maybe you'll get a laugh out of this. Maybe you'll be like, who is this asshole? But, like, if anything, you'll remember who I am. But hopefully, like, in your boring day of paperwork, you'll get a little laugh out of it, you know?
It's a little chuckle, little giggle.
Yeah.
And, like, in a world of, like, I mean, so I don't like using the word content creator because everybody's basically a content creator now. But, like, in the world of, like, everybody being an individual creator on their own terms, let's put it that way. That's how I'm going to word it now.
Look at you.
A creator on your own terms. It's like, there's just going to be so many people who have no fucking idea how to talk about themselves because they're like, I liked making a thing. I didn't like talking about me making the thing. So now I have to figure out like how to set myself apart and also like be authentic without just making like a, you know, wrote out like whatever thing that somebody else wrote and I just put my name in there. Try not to make your assignment look too much like mine, but then you just like take your name out and put somebody else's name in.
Right,
yeah, it's like at a certain point, you know, you kind of just have to create whatever is the most authentic thing to you because you're the only one doing your own thing, I guess.
Yeah. And like my whole thing is like I really try to emphasize authenticity because like again, like with so many people being so hyper focused on like their careers in music, you know, you tend to want to do the thing that you think will be received well. And like for me, it's like if I do something and everyone's like, no, we hate that, I'm like, well, that's fine. I have a day job anyway. Like, I'm not going to starve. No, but yeah, like it's just it's really hard to like not get lost in the shuffle, I guess, is where I was going with that. Actually, I'm going to be honest. I totally lost my train of thought there. I started reading the chat. I see there's somebody in the chat.
I mean,
Shay Ball. Hello.
Yeah. Hi, Shay.
Hey.
I was just waving hello in the meantime because, yeah, just to say hi. Hi, Shay Ball. Yeah, I like, to me, I think that the music scene has kind of gone in this different direction when everybody started to be more like, I can do this at home. I don't need anybody to help me do the music part of it, the creation part of it. The money side of it is like, I'm going to have a day job because there's no way that playing a show is going to pay me any money. So I might as well like have a job and be able to, you know, do this on my own. And like
Right.
Through that, I think everybody's kind of relearning how to do like press and marketing and being a personality on the internet and how to market yourself as an artist. And obviously like TikTok and the fact that you can record music at home has democratized the entire process, which I think is awesome. But I also think it's going to change the way that things are getting done because now everybody can do it. And if everybody says this is the way you have to, you know, market music, people are going to go, no, I can literally just post it on TikTok and like somebody will hear it and people might like it. And I don't need 1,000 people to like it. I'm happy if 100 people that come to shows like it, because that's still pretty sick.
Yeah. There's really like, I feel like in the music scene and like the industry, there's really kind of this whole like, you have the industry where there's like all of this structure and like everybody wants to break into this, but we have like the chaos and just like insane creativity of the internet, you know? And like, it's like, you don't need to like have like all of these things in place in order to like get a following anymore, you know? Like you do have the tools to do it yourself. Like you still have to get insanely lucky and you still have to be good at what you do, And you still have to understand like why what you're doing is working, and then like follow that, you know. Like you still have to be structured about it, but like really so many of the tools are in your hands. And like I am incredibly lucky to be with I Surrender Records. I like honestly, and they give me about $100 every time I say that on record.
Mm-hmm.
So
nice.
I'm kidding. You're like, yeah, I knew it.
Cha-ching.
No, I am super lucky to be with them because like they literally have said like we'll tell you when we think you should do something a certain way, but like this is your thing, and like we realize that like part of the magic of it is like what you've been doing, and we don't want to get in the way of that. Like for instance, like if I write a song that they're like, you don't like this song at all, and I go, it's going on the record. They literally said they'll be like, all right. And that's the kind of freedom I have with I Surrender Records, which is insane. Like I literally do not know any other, like none of my other friends who are signed acts have that freedom. So
and
like,
they're not making you.
like,
I was about to say they're not making you make TikToks to like release your music.
They want me to, but like it's not like a priority or anything. Like it's like TikTok is kind of like a what's it? It's a plus, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like really, it's like I do all of the social media stuff and hit it as hard as I can because like I know that I can reach people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But like really like it's such like a free environment, and like everybody is so fucking cool. Like I could hit up Rob at any time and be like, hey, what do you think about me doing this or whatever, and he'll give me his honest opinion, and then I'll go do it anyway. No. But yeah, it's so like it's not like hands off, but it's very much like nurturing, like realizing where the potential is and like nurturing that. And I feel like so many more labels can follow suit because like I've noticed that a lot of people, like a lot of like industry people will be like, this thing's working right now, you need to do it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, hold on, it's not going to work if I rush shit, you know? Like
mm-hmm.
if I hurry to put something out, that like it's A, it's going to be uninspired, and B, like nobody's going to like it. Like I've only noticed it, like I should say, like I'm not speaking for every label ever,
Of course.
but like I've you know, like me and my friends talk, we have the conversations like, oh, how are things going with you guys? I'm like, yeah, they want this and that, you know. Yeah, it's like you can't like pre-package something that's that thrives on being organic like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. There's a lot of labels who are reacting to where the music industry is going and are trying to like create it for themselves rather than like saying, well, we have a bunch of artists and they are the ones who are going to create the music industry of the future. Like, I don't think anybody who worked for a label thought that TikTok was going to be the place that everybody who likes new music is finding new music. And now they're like, oh, right, TikTok's the place. Everybody go make TikToks. And it's like, that's the problem, because the people who are making TikToks are already making TikToks. The people who aren't making TikToks are like, dude, I'm sorry, you're telling me to do something after the fact instead of like just letting me be the artist creating what I want to create.
Yeah, it really doesn't play to anybody's strengths. Like I totally get that. Where was I going with that? It's like it's kind of like, it's like the whole like lightning doesn't strike in the same place twice, you know? Like you either at this point, it's not to say that it won't happen for you, but like it's like at this point you either caught the TikTok wave while everybody was like gaining followers and followings and stuff, and like you either caught on to that or you're just trying to catch it now, you know. And by the time you finally understand, like, oh, okay, this is how short form video format works and this is what works for me, there's going to be something else, you know.
Mm-hmm. And you should be the person figuring out what that next thing is.
Early adoption.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's like there's like a whole like thing in like marketing, which, because I am a musician, I know so much about.
People need to be reminded of that. Like, oh, you're a musician. You are basically social media marketing 101. You can teach it.
So you're in management, marketing, retail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can run a show. You can do accounting.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Yeah. Like you're a bookkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh man, so much shit. Oh, man. Where was I going with that?
Yeah, sorry. Because you're in marketing, because you're a musician, you know marketing.
I don't know. I was probably just adding on to the don't be. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. I read it in a book called Brand Like a Rock Star, which I think is really interesting. It takes a lot of legacy bands, you know, from like the 70s to the early 2000s, like bands that were like huge radio success. It looks at what they did right, and it compares it to bigger brands like, you know, like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, for example. And it's like, this is what these guys did, that this brand did, and this is why they're accidentally or on purpose genius at marketing. And it's kind of the whole idea that, like, right now, if you want to make a cola, right, like a soda, you are more than likely not trying to compete with Coca-Cola or Pepsi, because we already have those, and anybody who likes sodas within that market already have decided what they like. They know what they like. The thing exists. You lost your chance, right? But like, still have the opportunity to kind of jump into like maybe a Jones Soda market, where like what they did was they started putting like their stuff in like bookstores and like cafes and stuff. And they had this interesting quirk where like they had photographers. Don't quote me on this, but I believe that they had like photographers from everywhere who did like a lot of like artsy shots. They featured their artwork on their bottle, so they had a thing. Mm-hmm. You know, they had a thing. They had a place. They basically made like mental real estate with you. Mm-hmm. So it's like, in comparison, like even me, like I lost out on the real big TikTok boom, and like you know, like the people who have been doing it since 2019. Because I jumped on in 2020, you know? So, like, TikTok already has its Coke and Pepsi, and, like, I'm kind of fighting to be its Jones Soda, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting way of looking at it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I thought you were going to tell a different story about Red Bull, which a buddy of ours told me about, which... I'll say it here, and then we're gonna do some plugs, and we're gonna promote your music, and we're gonna do all that. But essentially,
my music.
Yeah, whatever,
craziness.
Whatever. We're talking about soda now, so let's get on the soda train. So Red Bull was like, okay, we are trying to compete with Coke and Pepsi. We're making this drink that, you know, we think is going to be, you know, just as big, but how do we get attention? It's like, well, we know that there's three things about Coke: one, the flavor; two, the price; and three, the amount that you get. So like you pay $1 for a drink you like, and you get 12 ounces, 16 ounces. And so they said, all right, fuck it. We're going to make something that tastes like piss. We're going to put it in an 8 ounce can, and you're going to pay $5 for it. And then they're Red Bull. So it's like, it's about like finding your lane. And they were just like, I like what you're saying about Jones Soda, where it's like, yeah, we found our lane. We're like a higher class. And Red Bull's like, we're shit. We know we're shit. You're going to buy our shit. And now they're like, now we drive cardboard cars off a cliff into the ocean. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you just do whatever you want.
What's up, kid? You want the taste of fucking rocket fuel?
Yeah.
You want to feel like you can.
Fast as a rocket?
Like, you want to feel like you can conquer anything, even if you're dead? Let's go.
You guys ever licked a bull's armpit?
Do cocaine, but you don't want to be addicted to cocaine?
Yes. Before we wrap up the interview part of this, and we'll hang out on Twitch for a little bit, let's let you have that chance to talk about yourself again and tell us where people can find your music, where people can listen to you and support you. The best way to directly support you and also listen, of course. But if they want to pick up some of your new merch, I saw you had, so can send them those directions.
Cool. Okay. I'm goddamn Mattstagraham, and I put out a goddamn album called Prescribe Whatever, and you get my goddamn merch at oh my god, I'm blanking on the name. Partly Cloudy is my merch people, and they do a fantastic job, and they have all of my shirts and a hoodie and a beanie, and they do it totally in-house, and I have nothing to do with it, and that's what I love about them. So they will get to your order faster than I would. So yeah, Partly Cloudy. Also, if you go to I Surrender's website, you can pre-order my vinyl. They should be shipping out in September or October, but it is the Prescribe Whatever vinyl in an awesome magenta color that Gabby picked out for me. I love it so much. Yeah, you know what? Like, I don't care if it's like super early 2000s. Like, there's just something about black and pink.
Mm-hmm.
It just goes.
100%.
It just goes. Yeah. Okay, so I plugged merch. I plugged that. You can follow me at Mattstagraham on literally anything. It's my internet handle. It was my internet handle before it was my music name. I only made it my music name because I didn't want to think about anything. Mm-hmm. And before we go into other stuff, I wanted to mention, because we talked about soda and I talked about sobriety yet. If I'm not going to tell anybody how to live, but if you are struggling with alcohol addiction, something that helped me was I started buying cream sodas in the bottles, orange cream sodas for me particularly, because it felt like you were holding a drink, so it felt familiar. And also, alcohol metabolizes as sugar, so it helped me kind of kill the craving when I had one. So if you need some kind of help and you don't want to go into a predatory 12-step program that tries to push God on you, do that, and I feel like I should say I'm Mattstagraham one more time just to offshoot that.
Just to offshoot everything.
If you want to taste like the hoof of a bull, you should drink Red Bull. It's yellow because it's working.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
I don't know if that's the best or the worst type of like sponsorship.
I'm not helping Red Bull. They're doing fine.
No, we're not sponsored. I mean, if you want to sponsor us, Brian's the only one who drinks energy drinks out of two of us, so he's gonna do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I got a Monster in the fridge right now. It's like, how oh fuck. Lizzie, I lost it. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
We were talking about it the other day and now I can't remember. Yeah, no, I can't remember. No, yep, no, lost it. Anyway, we'll go ahead and we'll just, let our brains collapse on themselves from there. My mind is a black hole of nothing and nonsense. And we're going to go and hang out over on Twitch. But if you're hearing this, you got to go pick up that vinyl. To get that vinyl from Mattstagraham. Go follow him to know when, I know you're going on tour in Arizona and the California areas, which is not the Midwest.
I'm calling it the technically a tour.
Technically a tour.
Love it. The TT.
Yeah.
Mattstagraham will be technically a touring this July. Yeah, July. Soon. So go check them out if you're in Arizona and or California, and hopefully you come to the Midwest so we can come and hang out with you, because now that we've met you online and we're best friends, we got to hang out with you at a show here in the Midwest where it's not as warm or dry.
I'm working on it, I promise.
We're holding you to that. It's on recording now.
Yeah. Legally now,
okay,
you
cool.
have to do
Yeah,
it.
this is a
So
legal
there's no
document.
backing out.
Yeah. This is a legal document.
This is how I hold myself accountable to do it.
Yeah, go on podcasts so I get shit done.
Wild promises, and then
Just snip this area of the interview and send it to Rob. Be like, hey, I made a promise. I got to do it, my guy.
Ooh.
Yeah, I fucked up, man.
Rob, I did something bad, Rob. Oh, God. We're going to go hang out over on Twitch, but Matt, this was a beautiful time. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.